Alright guys, Jim here again for another review of Hajime No Ipoo Rising Episode 7, which really deals with two fights and the introduction of the most dangerous, bloodthirsty challenger up to this point that Ipoo has faced for the title. Now without further ado, let's get this thing on! Alright, to start it up, we got Sendo making his return against some nobody that he smashes within the first round. And then, moving from there, we got Takamura making his very first title defense against Bernard, a really muscular black guy from America who said that he really wanted to make it a show against Takamura in the press conference, and Takamura said that this guy would never hit him at all during the fight, and that, you know, he's leaving junior middleweight and going for all the belts up to heavyweight. Nevertheless, when they fought, Takamura, you know, was dodging the punches and stuff like that. Then he got stupid with it, trying to do Aoki's look away, you know, tactic. But then this fool basically turned his face to the guy, and then when he came back, it was boom! Right in his face. I mean, he stuck him real good with that shot. I mean, and then, you know, Takamura came back to reality. You know, and you saw him dodging those punches as if his life was on the line, man. And then he basically finished it off with a counter punch. Now, from there, you know, Coach Kamigawa sits down with Ipoo to discuss the next challenger for his belt, and he says, "Brett, you know that you're a cheese champion, right? Which means that you have some serious holes in your game, evidence to all of these 4 title fight requests that we have from all these contenders." Now, he gave Ipoo the choice of who he wanted to face out of those people that had sent in letters of challenge. And he chose Sawamura, the man that he had met post-Sendo fight in Sendo's locker room, who said, "Champ, when we fight, please don't use the clumsy Dempsey roll." And then, you know, Yagi and Coach Kamigawa, but shit, man, you picked him? And like, when Ipoo goes home and looks at the tapes, he is shocked. I mean, he is like bewildered because Sawamura was making Ipoo's last opponent, Shima Bakuro, look like a joke. And they were saying how he could have finished him, but instead wanted to humiliate him by prolonging it. This guy is a dangerous counterpuncher and just fighter all around, man. I mean, with all the guys who were there, they were talking about his skill set, you know, talking about how he's a good boxer and this, that, and the other thing. And Ipoo basically dispelled the similarities between him and Miyata, because while Miyata charges in once his opponent is like closing in on their attack, this guy, when he's getting ready to counter, he counters you before you do it and leaves little risk. And they get to see just how bloodthirsty this guy is, because the next tape, when they're watching it, when Sawamura gets elbowed and you see blood coming out of his nose, he gets pissed, knocks the guy down, grabs him, and boom! Gives him his own elbow. And you see the blood dripping and everything. Because this guy has no disdain for the rules. Evidence of his 2 disqualification losses. But regardless Sawamura's bloodlust doesn't just stop in the ring with his fouls and his playing around and stuff. It also can go into the street as well, because when he was in the street, those guys basically, you know, pissed him off, and he started beating him up and his friends and stuff like that. And he even punched one of those guys in the mouth when their mouth is wide open, and you can see evidence with the teeth marks of blood on his hand. And say, try to sue me now, bitch. But regardless, though, this guy is just really nasty, especially with him licking the blood. Yeah. But in the end, I mean, you'll get to see why he is the way he is, and you can understand why he's so twisted and everything like that, because this guy, you know, had a rough childhood and stuff like that. I'm not going to spoil too much for you, but you're going to see. I'm going to give this thing a 10 out of 10. It was a great opening with Team Aoki in the house, Aoki and his lackeys, and then the two fights with Takamura and Sendo were great too. I mean, short as they were, but it was fun though, seeing those two guys in action. And the introduction of Bloodthirsty Sawamura. But come to the next episode, we're going to probably see a little backstory of Sawamura and the return of Borg, because the episode is titled Mad Dog and Lone Wolf. And I'll be sure to do a review for that, guys, when I can. Now this is Jim, signing off.